Going to put a little recording on. Okay, good. Okay, good. We're pausing that. Okay, great. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Here comes.
Good. That's good.
That is good. It's really good. That burp. Oh, yeah, baby. All right, here we go. We are on in 3, 2, 1.
Regularly scheduled programming will not be seen at this time, so that we may bring you an ABC after-school special, Stoned.
I'll have to go to the toilet.
The Morning Stream. It is the end of the beginning.
Good morning and welcome back to TMS. It's the morning stream for Thursday, July 13th, 2023. It's my mom's birthday. Yeah. My mom turns 85 years old today, man. Woo!
Wow. Happy birthday, Mama Johnson.
Yeah. Kim took her to Kim and Misha took her to lunch yesterday and puttered around the mall out there because my mom loves a mall. And
why aren't you taking your mom to lunch, by the way? What's going on?
Well, I work for a living, and Kim and Misha are full-time run around and do shit people. So they took care of it.
Yeah, but she's your mom. I mean, now listen, I understand. I'm sorry, I don't have time to meet with this listener who's coming to town and is doing stuff because you got work. We both work.
Sure.
We both work very hard.
Yeah.
But come on.
We'll go. We'll end up going somewhere. We just probably won't be on time. It won't be like on the day. And I guess yesterday wasn't on the day either. But anyway, she's all good. She's happy. 85's a freaking hallmark of age. That's a nice ripe. She's very ripe now. My mom.
I don't think people. Ripe, we can't use ripe in the apple sense because it's also in the stench sense. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, you've been working out in the yard, you are ripe.
You're ripe. Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom smells lovely. She smells like whenever I smell my mom, I feel like I'm smelling that Febreze stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Her perfume reminds me of Febreze, and I would never probably tell her that. But I'm happy to say it on the air. It's not a problem to say it.
I'm just already loving the phrase whenever I smell my mom.
You hug her and you just catch a whiff of whatever somebody sprayed on her at the Macy's, and then she took it home.
Yes, of course.
She's loving it.
Yeah, it just feels like whenever I bite into a York peppermint patty, I get the sensation of Febreze.
Yep, Febreze. Something to make your couch smell better. That's what I get off of my mom. Anyway, happy birthday to her and anyone else celebrating a birthday today. She
just lump you all into the same category.
That's
Matthew
right.
Wayne Selznick.
Yeah.
Who else? No, that's a different day. Ellie Collins, Stuart Morrison. I don't know how well. Daniel Pickett.
Yeah.
Matthew Fuller.
Okay. All right.
Sharon Stelzig Snyder.
Sure. That sounds like a real person to me.
Yeah. Why not?
How about this one? Let's see. In 1590, Clement X was born. He's an Italian pope. So he's 10. Good. It's not Clement X. It's Clement the 10th. So Clement X is his rap stage name, I guess. Current King
Clement X.
King Ferdinand III, born this day in 1608. That's pretty cool.
George Michael.
Oh, that's cool.
Was born on this date. 50 Cent.
Yeah.
He's in the club. A body full of bud. He got with something in the club.
Whoa, Julius Caesar today, born in Rome.
All right.
Let's see, it was yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess it wasn't. Nope, it wasn't. He was born on this day. George Michael.
The opposite died.
His family and lawyers. No, he died on Christmas.
Oh, that's
his family and lawyers stepped up their battle to force Fadi Fawaz to leave the singer's former home after he broke a number of windows.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, that was 2019. It was after George Michael passed away. And 50 Cent also, not really his birthday today. Today is the anniversary of when he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Oh, okay. Well, it's all making much more sense now.
So there's that. Yeah, birthdays. Let's see if there are birthdays, because I'd like to have some sort of music birthday thing. Let's see here.
Cameron Crowe. He made movies about music and also worked in
he did, yeah,
music related things. That's one.
Roger McGuinn, lead vocalist of the Byrds. 8 Miles High.
Yeah.
So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star? That guy.
Yeah. Let's see here. How about Bobby Rock, or Brock they called him? He
Not to be confused with Kid Rock.
No.
Whose first name is Bob, by the way.
Oh, is it Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, they have it written here as Bobby.
Bob Ritchie, I think.
Let's see here. How about this one? Spud Webb, little short basketball NBA star. Spud Webb.
Oh yeah, Spud Webb. Yep.
5'7". So he's the height of most people, but in NBA terms, he was a tiny man compared to everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was great. I love that guy. Well, anyway,
Ambassador Domo says Dee Cohn, you light up my life. Dee Cohn. So You Light Up My Life was Debbie Boone.
Yeah.
Not Dee Cohn, but Dee Cohn wasn't she? She was a beauty school dropout in Greece, right? Is that the Dee Cohn I'm thinking of?
No idea. Might be.
Yeah.
Your knowledge on that would exceed mine.
Yeah, July 13th, 1951.
There you go.
Oh, did she play? Was she in that movie? The movie You Light Up My Life. Okay, all right, sure.
You light up my life. Is that song used in that movie? Probably.
Oh, it has to be. Yeah, it's 1977. It might have even been written for that movie.
It's like doing The Spy Who Loved Me without The Spy Who Loved Me.
Exactly.
Cheech Marin. Oh my gosh, Cheech Marin was born today.
The song is not The Spy Who Loved Me. The song is Nobody Does It Better.
Oh, Nobody Does It Better. It doesn't go The Spy Who Loved Me.
Almost any other James Bond song you could have named was the title of the movie, and that's like one of the very few where the title is not the title is in the song, but not in the title of the song.
For a long ass time, that was my favorite Bond movie. I really liked that.
That was a good one. Yeah,
big fan of that one. Still to this day, it's good. Cheech Marin born today, so there's your final birthday shout out.
Nice.
Cheech was born.
He's not here, man.
Yeah, done a lot of pot since. And,
man, I'm Dave.
Dude, I love that. Those guys, those albums, I thought they were so great in high school. I felt like it was contraband, you know?
Yeah, it totally was back then. My gosh, how times have changed, right? So how tame those things seem in today's comedy spectrum.
Oh yeah, they're like nothing. I'm not even sure it exists
They're
today.
making jokes about marijuana.
Yeah, it seemed really edgy at the time. But I don't even think that if you started that group today, you start that comedy duo, I don't even think it works today. Mm-hmm. I think it's just like it's a thing of its time.
No, it's got to be further than that. Because I mean, you've already got that in like Harold and Kumar or Jay and Silent Bob. You've already got the smoking pot aspect. You need more. It has to be smoking pot and hanging out in front of a convenience store doing rap songs.
Yeah, the entire plot point of all Cheech and Chong content was the central thing of a giant bong or a huge doobie. That was it.
Yes, exactly.
That's your show.
Oh,
that's
hey.
your thing. Yeah.
I didn't put this in our show notes, but I have a really quick movie review.
Oh shit. Lay it down. Give it to us.
I was thinking you were preparing, doing a music stinger or something.
No.
Went last night and saw Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Hearing good things.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
The series just gets better every time they make a new one, you know?
It does. And, again, without giving stuff away, holy cow, talk about bringing all the greatest hits.
Really?
With the exception of Jeremy Renner, unfortunately. But, give us some Mission Impossible greatest hits, and we get them in this thing.
Really? Well,
Yes.
that makes my brain go places.
Yeah.
The bloated corpse of the guy that turned on him in the third one. Oh yeah, John Voight in the first one. I forgot he was even in that. Yeah. I don't want to see his bloated corpse.
No, it's excellent. Very, very good. And
good. Non-stop action, wall to wall, great stunts.
Wall to wall action. Like you basically have 2 points in the movie, and it's a 2-hour plus movie, I think. It was hard to tell with the previews and stuff. But it felt like there were 2 10-minute points where you had a nice little minute to relax, and the rest was just nonstop action. And I'm telling you right now, you got Haley Atwell,
like her,
Hubba Hubba, and Pom Clementif.
Oh yeah,
Mantis.
Mantis
You got
in
her
there.
in this thing.
No, she's not wearing the black contacts though, right? Like the cool.
She's not wearing any of the Mantis accoutrement.
That's a shame.
Is it?
Yeah. You got your Rebecca Ferguson. She's having quite the year. She's doing stuff. Yeah.
But she's been in Mission Impossible before.
That's what I'm saying. This is her
nice
returning.
return.
Yeah. It's like third time or fourth time or something. I can't remember how many.
Shea Wiggum.
Oh,
Gotta
I
love
that.
your
I like
Shea
the Shea
Wiggum.
Wiggum. Good Lord.
Yes.
Boy, you might have gone
I can't
just
remember
for
if
that.
Cary Elwes was in any of the previous. Was he in the previous Mission Impossibles?
I don't remember. Maybe.
Okay.
I know. Do they bring back? Oh shit, Mr. In Trouble these days. Alec Baldwin, is he in there? 'Cause
No,
he was in there for a
he's
hot
not.
second.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's not.
Okay.
He had a good. By the way, he has a really good interview on Fly on the Wall. As an SNL not regular but consistent performer. If that makes sense.
He was just up the road all the time. They're like, "Hey, get in here."
Pretty much, exactly.
Yeah.
We need other Trump. We need, can you quickly host? I think he's hosted. It's really funny. Like he is the if you need a quick host, he's the guy you call. And let's see how many times he's hosted SNL.
Got to be up there.
This is so many rabbit holes right off of. Does not say. I'm sure somewhere there's a list of how many times.
I think we didn't we do a half-asses once or something that.
There we go. 17 times as of 2017.
Okay.
He holds the record for most times hosting.
He is most times. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And we did have a not a half-asses, but it was when we were doing Babel Royale.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Did he? So was this interview? This is a recent interview. Like
yeah, it's within the last month.
Did he talk about the shooting thing?
Very briefly.
Probably can't say a lot legally. I'm guessing.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can't imagine this. You're because he was holding the prop gun that malfunctioned, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that being the one that held the gun that accidentally killed the lady?
It's horrifying just thinking about the
it's just heinous.
The thought of doing that.
Yeah. It would just be awful, man. You'd have that forever. You'd be always like, well, yeah, I'm the one that killed him.
Yeah,
unintentionally as it was, it's still like, geez Louise.
It's the most unintentional thing. There's just so much. You're basically put in this situation where now you've committed murder because of somebody else's negligence, and they may feel guilt too, but not as much as the guilt you're going to feel knowing that you pulled the trigger.
Yep.
Oh, it's rough.
Gnarly
rough business.
All right, let's get into some stuff here. I got in trouble yesterday. I'd like to share how.
Okay,
right?
Tell me.
So we're outside, and we're checking sprinklers because ever since the water apocalypse we had the week before, or last week, I guess.
Aquapocolypse.
Aquapocolypse. That sounds like 8 apocalypses.
Don't try and condense it any further.
I'm trying to get that thing down there, man. I got to get it out.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, I'm going to get it right down to apocalypse. Anyway, since then, our sprinklers have not behaved exactly right, and we think probably it's just one little, what do they call them, zones? You have them broken up into zones. Yep. And we have one zone 1, it's called, which is the one that's the strip of grass on the other side of the sidewalk from us. So it's still our property, but it's just that little strip there.
Separated by the walkway, the parallel to the front of your house walkway.
Correct.
Basically.
And the water is just dribbling there. It's just not doing anything. Like there's no pressure. It's there. Now all of the rest of everything's fine. It's no issues. Mm-hmm. The current running theory is they probably kinked something.
Probably
when they were digging. Who knows?
Yeah.
Nothing's leaking though, because we're not getting any kind of water usage when it's off or even when it's dormant.
But you still could have a break in the line that just when zone 1 is closed.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. It's just not. Yeah. It's not like a permanent thing, but when it's in other words, if I turn off the sprinklers, it's not just running.
Water's
on the grass.
still not flowing.
Yeah, right? It just stops. So anyway, we're just trying to figure it out on our own before we spend more money on this, and it isn't that big a deal because we're actually thinking about zero-scaping that part anyway. And that'll take time, and so it's not that big a deal. But anyway, we're working on it. And Kim's theory is if you cut around it might be the sprinkler heads. That's what she thinks. So because they're old, these are older sprinkler heads, and so we got a couple of new ones. And she's like, all right, let's just cut these. We'll cut a little, circular chunk of grass, pull it out, dig down a bit, make sure the valve's clear, all this stuff, put the new one on. And that didn't work. And so she says, all right, let's try this one. She did another one, and that didn't change it. And she's like, all right, maybe we should do that third one. And I said this. Here's where the trouble comes in. I said, I heard the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Or I said something like, isn't that old phrase that, And I said it kind of flippantly and not really meaning, I wasn't trying to be like annoying.
Yes, sure.
But I'd glance around at Kim after I said it, and I have never seen like more fire in her eyes in that moment. And I was like, oh no, I'm not, I'm just, we're just playing. We're good.
Did she just hand you the shovel and say, awesome, you do it? Because that's pretty much what Tina would do. And she basically say,
It was like, I'm fine, you take care of this. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm totally kidding. I get that we're troubleshooting, but I am guessing that the third thing isn't going to solve our problem.
Well, and are you going further? Like basically, if you change the first sprinkler head closest to where water comes out and that doesn't solve it for the other two, then changing ones further down the line aren't going to increase water pressure later.
Exactly,
like
which is why hence my playful way of pointing that out, or at least I thought it was playful. But it annoyed her. I go, oh, what's the big deal? And she goes, you called me insane. I'm like, I'm not calling you insane. I'm saying the act of doing, and I kind of went over it again. I realized I was making no ground. So I'm just saying, quick little advice. You got, you're out there with your significant other. You're trying to get shit done. Maybe don't bring up old idioms about insanity and the definition thereof. All right.
Yeah, maybe not a good idea.
Don't be like me.
What you're probably need to do, I hate to say it, is you're gonna need to turn on zone 1.
Yeah.
Maybe put if there's still stuff coming out, you might need to put buckets over the sprinkler heads. But then you need to like get on all fours and actually put your head to the ground and see if you can hear a point from the box, from the distributor to the first sprinkler, and listen for where there might be either a kink or water rushing. It's going to make noise, but it's not going to be noise you're going to hear standing up. You're probably going to have to get really close and put your ear to the ground and kind of listen.
My brother-in-law, Devin, supposedly has some kind of sonar device.
Oh, really? Okay.
To let him do some kind of something. I don't know how it works. There's someone in the chat may know, but apparently there's a way to do this with a thing. It's kind of like when you find fish or you do depth checking in a lake or whatever. It's similar to that, and you can pick up sound and movement or whatever. So we'll see. I don't know. It's all stupid. I hate water crap. I hate this stuff. I hate it.
I do too. Every spring we find some sprinkler line that broke over the winter, and we always do the blowout. We always do the stuff. Get the water out of there so it doesn't freeze and crack the pipes and stuff. But for whatever reason, we still have to. They're just too. I think somebody put them in too close to the surface, and so they're just affected by that sort of thing. They get broken. So I have to cut them up, cut a new chunk of pipe, and then splice it and put it back together. And guess what? Next spring I'll have to do all over again in a different spot.
Yeah, because it never ends. And here's the thing: I don't know why we need grass in the first place. Let's just zero-scape everything. Let's make it all look pretty.
I keep calling it zero-scaping like it's
I said zero. Didn't I say zero? I didn't say zero?
No, you said zero both times. Zero-scaping.
I think it just comes out that way. But yeah, like we don't need that. Who needs that strip of grass? We're just throwing water away. It's stupid.
Oh, for sure. No, we're doing the same thing. Basically, we're talking to the next door neighbor, not crazy neighbor, but the other side, about the patch of lawn we both share and figuring out what we can do there to basically eliminate needing any watering there whatsoever.
Yeah,
There's no reason.
This is the future I want.
It's just grass and clover and a pain in the butt.
Yeah, all three of those things with an emphasis on pain in the butt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You want to talk about this video he sent me, this Kiss video?
Yes. So right now, Hammond and I are listening to Kiss for Soundography.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of albums. I was surprised by how many albums they have. Mm-hmm. So it's taking quite a while. And I'm also realizing that for the first time in Soundography history, I'm liking a band less after listening to their library than before we started.
Oh wow, that's a twist. No one saw
That
coming.
is a twist. Like I'm there are so many songs about wanting to hook up with Jailbait after their concerts that it's plus their songwriting, there is nothing that's not in the first person, and it's basically just like, oh, we're rocking and we're gonna rock in your town and we're gonna bring the rock, so you better show up, and boy, you're hot, so come to our dressing rooms after the show.
Yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of Kiss in a nutshell.
It really is. And I'm finding Paul Stanley's voice to be the most boring voice in rock and roll. So freaking boring.
Yeah,
So
his voice is. I feel like you're saying what I feel like I've always kind of known about this band.
Yeah, maybe I have as well. Because you want to give him credit, right? Because Beth is great, and the album Destroyer is pretty good, and the song I Was Made for Loving You is all right, and part of every day.
I want to rock and roll.
Really, it's party every day, but I still like the line, I want to rock and roll all night, and part of every day.
You got to pace yourself. You can't go all night and then all day. You got to pace it and have just
exactly
part of the day.
Part of every day.
Yeah.
Detroit Rock City's good. Strutter, I think, is a good song, but it's still, it's an issue. So I told my Uncle George this, and he says, have you watched the video of Kiss on the Tom Snyder show? Do you remember Tom Snyder?
I do. Yeah.
In his late night show, he had Kiss on. I don't know the year on this, but it becomes immediately apparent that Ace Frehley and Peter Criss are blitzed out of their mind, and Gene Simmons, well, Paul Stanley to some degree, but Gene Simmons to the nth degree, gets more and more pissed off with them as they go through. Like the glares that he shoots. And it's not just the demon makeup, because they're doing this whole interview in full on makeup, but Gene Simmons is giving these glares to frickin' Ace Frehley, and mostly Ace Frehley, some to Peter Criss, throughout the entire interview. And this thing is so cringy, but has some great audio content, for us to mine from for this show if we ever want to.
Oh, look at these guys! Holy crap! I'm showing some of the video now. Is it? Oh, they showed some of that Demon in New York thing. Whatever that was, movie. What was that called?
The Kiss versus the Phantom of the Park.
That's what it was. There was something about New York in my head about that. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's film sack worthy. I've got a copy of it, but I don't know if the whole thing's available on YouTube. You can't stream it. I don't even think you can buy the DVD anywhere. I think you have to get. It a whole bootleggy way of getting it.
I think what you're seeing, I guess, from the listen is that this was more of a. It was a marketing thing. It was never like we're all about the music. It was always about we're about being outlandish and selling records.
Mini golf courses, and because they even promote on this that one of the things they were working on when this interview took place was a traveling Kiss carnival. So coming to your town, a hastily assembled set of rides based on the characters of the Starman, the Demon, the Cat, and the Space Guy, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Like as kids, we kind of bought into it. We're like, yeah, dude.
Totally. Yeah.
He's got like blood, and he's up there with his giant tongue, and this is so rebellious and cool. I think we got suckered. We got suckered hard.
Yeah, I'm so. We really did. Yeah, and listening to their music, it's like, wow, this is really not good. There's a whole song they do called Great Expectations, and lyrics of it are basically, you're hot chick and you're watching me from the audience, and you see the way I'm fingering my guitar, and you're imagining what I could do to you.
Ew.
It basically are the lyrics. Or you're seeing me sing into this microphone, and you're imagining what my mouth can do.
Oh, jeez.
It is the cringiest damn song ever.
Wow. Okay.
And I'll be talking about that, of course, on Soundography when we record.
Do you have to listen to that Lick It Up album? That's a bad album.
Yeah, you had to listen to everything. Yeah. It was a bad album.
Lick It Up's kind of catchy for a radio thing, but
it is.
Rest of it is terrible, and it was like their first non-makeup thing, and we were all about it at the time because I was like, oh, this is awesome. That's the concert I went to when the electricity blew out and they had to quit early. And people about rioted, man. It was so bad. Oh, my gosh.
And again, maybe I shouldn't read lyrics to songs as I'm listening to them, but the lyrics to Lick It Up are horrible as well.
Terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, don't want to wait till you know me better. Let's just do it. I don't care what your name is. Thanks for coming to the dressing room. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a kind of a consistent thing with them.
And I'm not even going to get into what is being licked up.
Yeah, we don't want to know.
Let's not even go there.
Yeah, we assume he's talking to his dog, and it's food off the side of the bowl. Lick it up.
Yeah,
Rufus, lick it up.
Exactly. Anyway, so there you go.
Good news.
Kiss video. Look it up if you want on YouTube. But I figure we can pull some great.
Yeah, I'll extract some audio out of there. You guys will probably recognize it when you hear it. Hey, you're on Cameo now. How much?
I am, thanks to some weird clerical error. I priced myself under Justin Robert Young and over the criminally underpriced Veronica Belmont. Veronica Belmont, for some reason, is only charging $15 for cameos.
Yeah.
So I just took whatever their recommendation was, which is 20, and said, you know what, $20. Want me to wish somebody happy birthday,
sure,
happy bar mitzvah, happy anniversary, whatever. I'm it's me and everybody from The Office on Cameo.
They're all up there, man.
Yeah.
Did it? So when
package deal is what they should offer.
I'm pretty sure we signed up same day.
We
did you get like an email or
got
something, or how'd they tell you?
Yeah, I got an email yesterday saying, welcome to Cameo. We've approved your application. Like,
weird.
Wow, that's great, from like a year ago. So
I was
I'm
going to
thinking,
say easily a year ago or something. We talked about that, right?
Easily, if not more than that. So you've probably got one in your junk folder or something like that. Probably sooner than me, because.
Wow, that's wild. Wild.
Yes, Marek, you can pay me to wish 50 Cent a happy anniversary of his bankruptcy.
Yeah, $20.
I'll call him 50 Cent. Are you now 25 cent? 10 cent? What are you now?
Are you significantly less cents than you were before?
Happy bankriversary. Something like that. Yeah.
Cameo's a weird service. Well, you have to let us know if anyone uses it. I'm very curious.
I'll let you know if anyone uses it. Cameo.com/Brian Ibbett. There you go.
Nice. Oh, no, Coverville, just your name.
Coverville was taken by, I think, my already existing account, and it wouldn't let me use Coverville.
Oh.
So, yeah. So
weird.
I might send an email and say, can you figure out what's going on here? Because, come on, I'm Coverville.
Yeah, you're supposed to be unified across all platforms.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be two different people. Come on now.
Chris says we discussed this on September 21st. This is when we talked to Cameo, when we applied to Cameo.
Last year?
How do you know that date, Chris?
Well, that's almost... Yeah, that's weird that he knows the date.
Yeah.
That's not... So it's almost a year.
It is true. Almost a year, yeah.
Yeah, we're not that far from that.
I'm more nervous about how Chris knows that.
Yeah, that's the larger question at hand. But also...
Chris says Pops and Recline. Oh, that explains it.
That explains a lot, Pops and Recline.
One of the things that I enjoy also is reading.
That significant musical intro indicates that Red Fraggle 3, a.k.a. Amy Robinson's here to talk about books and reading. Hello, Amy.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
I just love the intro music you picked for me. It's just so joyful.
It's lovely, right?
It is peppy. You can just see you skipping down the road with a basket full of books.
Yep.
Right?
You're the LeVar
Although that
Burton.
would be difficult because books are heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it'd be paperbacks. And actually it would be a Kindle.
Yeah.
Just one Kindle.
Yep.
Right. Just a Kindle and like a tub of ice cream.
That sounds all right.
A piece of pottery with some ice cream in it, and then a Kindle.
There you go.
Sounds
there
fantastic.
You go. Exactly.
Well, we're excited to have you back. I hope you're well.
Thank you.
You sent me a whole bunch of pictures. You want to talk about these first or after? How do you want to? Do these?
Yeah. So I'll talk about those in a second. I do want to tell. I want to tell you a story, Scott, and this might make you feel a little better because I can relate to your story about getting in trouble.
Okay.
And this was a long time ago. This was, my as my current husband would put it, my trial husband.
The demo. Yeah.
in both senses of the word. Yep. So we actually had gone to South Africa for our honeymoon, and we had just flown in there. It's a very, very long flight. It's about 24 hours to fly from Atlanta to Cape Town. And we had just gotten there, and of course they have a right-hand drive on their cars, and they drive on the left side of the road. So I was like, that's all you. I don't think I can make my brain do that. And we had directions to the hotel. We're both very, very tired. And we get in one of these kind of town centery places where there's lots of one-way streets and you can't get there from here kind of situation going on. And we end up, I mean, we can see the hotel, but we cannot figure out how to get there with the car. Yeah. And my now ex-husband says, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I innocently said, yes, you're right. There must be a better way than not getting there. And he was so mad. He was like, do you want to drive? Because you can drive. I mean, he was really mad.
See, it's just like me. You meant it like I meant it, which was you weren't looking for you weren't looking for a conflict. You were just like, oh yeah, it's like that makes logical sense. So I'm going to say the logical thing. Turns out the other person was not in the place to hear that.
Because the way we're doing things now, we are not at the hotel. So the way we could improve this is by getting to the hotel.
Be at the hotel.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Right. And I swear, it was totally innocent, and I thought I was going to lighten the mood, but nope. I made it worse. So there you go. It happens to all of us.
It does. But, well, I feel some not consolidation. What do you call it when someone
consolation?
No, what's
like you're consoled or
collaborate? No, not
commiseration.
Commiseration. There we go.
There it is. We have
leave it to the woman with some book learning.
I was going to say that's what happens when you read books. That's right. Know words.
That's right. Yeah. You learn words, and you learn use cases for words like commiseration. Today's word, commiseration, or constipation.
That's really ironic because today's books are picture books.
Funny.
So yeah, which leads me into the pictures that I sent to Scott for today. So I have a confession. You guys know that my last book recommendation was the Silo series, and actually it was Wool, and then man, I had to keep going. And so I've spent the last couple of weeks just consuming the crap out of that. And so I did. So this week we'll have a bit of lighter fare. And I want to recommend a little book from one of my favorite comic series. And it's sort of a thing that Chuck and I have just latched onto, and we absolutely love. And here, okay, let's see. Can I remember how to share my screen?
I'll bet you can. I'll bet it comes back to you.
Oh wait, I gotta get to where the call was. I can do this. Yep. I can do it.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I'm a tech professional. I can do this.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. No, come on. Nope. Go. Nope. Yeah.
Yeah. You got the little share screen button. Oh, there you go. See?
There you go.
Screen with the arrow. There we go.
All right.
I hear Brian twice and me twice.
Oh no. Oh no. I did a bad thing. You see, like that was what I didn't want.
If you mute the
itself out. No, it's not yet.
Yeah. If you mute the what do you call it?
The stream.
The screen part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I can just mute it. Let's see. Well, then Brian would have to too, but.
Oh, I could do it too.
Oh, but that mutes her. Oh, yeah. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, okay. Hold on. All right. So, Scott, go ahead and share some of those pictures I sent you, and then I'll share my screen for a later part.
All right. We can totally do that.
That works.
We can totally do that. All right. So I'm pulling stuff up here.
I will pull up the stream so I can see what y'all are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the today's books there are two of them, and they're by this little comic artist. And the comics are called Dinos and Comics, and they're just adorable. If you haven't seen them, it's really, really cute. The artist has ADHD. It was written by this guy named James Stewart. But the books themselves are called Dinosaur Therapy and Dinosaur Philosophy. So what you're looking at right now is a little piece of pottery that I made for Chuck, because we started discovering these little dinosaur comics and they just were so adorable. And they were like, I would show them to him and I'd be like, it's us if we were dinosaurs, you know? And so I made this little ceramic box. And that is the picture you're seeing right now is like a full 4-panel comic of these two dinosaurs, red and blue, and they're just in different positions, kind of snuggled up on the couch together. And one of them's got headphones, and one of them's got some yarn, and in another one they're reading a book, and another one they're like all snuggled up together or whatever.
Sure.
So I made him this little ceramic box, and the lid has the dinosaurs in bed together with their little claws, whatever, pulled up over the covers.
whatever dinosaurs have. Yeah.
The sides are decorated in different scenes from this little dino comics thing. So I was like, okay, this will be a cool way to kind of tie in the pottery and the books, and also kind of get me out of jail for not reading a new book, because I'm like, but again, I'll just renew my recommendation for the Silo series because it freaking is awesome.
Yeah, it's
but
really good.
as Scott knows, because I've been just like blowing up his DMs going, oh my god, I can't believe this happened.
I was really fun
because this character, I'm gonna revolt. And,
even though this is my second read through of Shift, I'd forgotten a lot of it. And so me going through this again and then having you pipe in right around that same time I'm in the same sort of place as you are was really a fun interaction, because you're not kidding, dude. Shift goes places. Holy crap.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
And okay, so now I think, hold on. Now I can do this. Oh,
Did you
all
figure it out?
I think I did.
All right.
I just hope it doesn't do the thing with the sound again.
All right. Oh,
so,
yeah, I can see us on your
okay.
shared
So this is what I wanted to show. So this is the book. This is one of the books. It's called Dinosaur Philosophy. And you can see these are just really cute little 3 or 4 panel comics. The art is very simple, nothing fancy, but they're all just like little dinosaurs and turtles and stuff. And they're all just very relatable. And one says, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to your problems. And the turtle says, that's okay. I don't come to you for answers. I come to you for a new perspective on the question.
Oh.
It's just, it's very relatable. I think my favorite one is this one from this book. It says, you need to get out of your comfort zone. And the reply is, there is literally no zone in which I am comfortable.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
So,
it looks like, even though the art is, might make someone think this is a book geared towards children. This is definitely geared towards like, adults and younger adults and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And
sure.
there's a little introduction at the beginning of Dinosaur Therapy, which is the other book over here.
That's the one I linked to in the quick TMS, by the way, is Dinosaur Therapy, because that's the first one I found.
Did both of these start as? Did either of these start as web comics? Do you know, or they did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are web comics, and so it would be. I think it's called Dinos and Comics.
Okay.
So if you just like Google Dinos and Comics, you'll find them. But that's how I found out about them. Was just every once in a while. That was the only thing keeping me on Twitter for a little while. Was like I flip through like, oh, look, a picture of a dog. Cool. And then, keep scrolling through everybody's angry crap. And then, oh, look, it's a Dinos and Comics,
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, the writer, comic artist was diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. And so therefore is like the comic is just sort of a way to process some of his stuff.
Sure.
And it turns out a lot of it is really relatable. I think one of my favorite ones from Dinosaur Therapy is this one that's on the right, and he says, I'm sad. And the other one says, I'm sorry and I'm here for you. And the first one says, aren't you going to tell me to cheer up? People always tell me to cheer up. And he says, no, I still like you when you're sad.
Oh,
I'm like, oh,
that's adorable.
So anyway,
Sweet.
they're just a little good bit of positivity. And I think honestly, everybody should have a book or two like this that's just, fun to pick up and look through just to get a little jolt of fun and positivity. The Calvin and Hobbes books anthologies are great for that.
Yeah.
Just have something around that's, once you're done reading about the end of mankind, you can kind of palate cleanse with some cute uplifting comics about dinosaurs.
I think that's a great idea. Having, I'm getting close to the end of the second read of Shift. I'm probably going to need something like this when I'm done.
It's a good time to do this. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
you do need it because I know what happens at the end of Shift.
Yeah.
So.
I have a very apocalyptic mind at the moment. Need something to refresh that. Well, that's awesome. Go check both of these out. Cool. And if you don't remember anything we talked about, Brian's got them up on quicktms.li. As usual. Amy, it's always good having you on.
Thanks.
Is there anything you got going on we should tell people about?
Yes, I will be doing a live stream, a pottery live stream today between TMS / Adventure Club and Coverville, if assuming there is one.
There is one. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So
awesome.
See, I gave Brian a free plug also.
Thank you for that.
You guys want to see? You guys want to see some clay get thrown? You got to tune into this stuff, man. I'm telling you.
Today is going to be fun because I am out of practice, so there's going to be a lot of like sponges flying and just making a mess because I need to practice throwing some clay. I've been doing a lot of decorating, a lot of planning. You ever do that where you get all up in your head about planning a project and then not actually doing it, and you're like, crap.
All the
analysis paralysis is what they call that business.
Yeah. Got a bad case of that these days, actually. Well, that's great. As always, good to have you here. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time.
You too.
Now.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Close stream.
Fun stuff. Some really cool pottery too with that.
I agree. Let's do this now real quick. One of these. Time for some very quick news brought to you by.
So quick. Brought to you by Coverville. Yeah, there, as previously mentioned, there will be a Coverville today. And annually, I do a show that always celebrates the inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This year, we've got folks like Kate Bush, Willie Nelson, Sheryl Crow, Missy Elliott, Rage Against the Machine, The Spinners, and George Michael. And you're going to hear covers of almost all of those folks. I just recently did a George Michael episode in honor of what would have been his birthday last week. So no George Michael, but you're going to hear covers of all of the rest of them.
Nice.
So tune in, twitch.tv/Coverville, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville.
You watched that Wham documentary yet?
Not yet. It's on my list. Ham and I are going to watch it for patrons, Soundography patrons, because we do a movie review, music movie review thing.
Hearing very good things about it.
I'm too. I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for this other American Gladiators. After watching the ESPN 30 by 30 American Gladiators doc, I'm excited for this other one too.
Yeah, I watched the Netflix one. And still need to see the other one. So I kind of have the opposite thing. I kind of want to go see the ESPN one, but
yeah,
it was really interesting. That was a fascinating. I'm sure there's a lot of shared
for
stuff.
The Netflix one.
Yeah, you get Nitro in there. You get Laser.
Good, because there were quite a few people who didn't do the 30 for 30 one because that asshole producer was involved.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
the jerk that kind of ran things and
this kind of had
about
everybody.
Safety or.
Yeah, I think this kind of had everyone. I can't think of anyone that didn't show up in this.
Oh, really? So even the a-hole producer money grubber dude.
Well, is he the one that's the Elvis impersonator?
Elvis impersonator, yeah.
No, they don't have him on.
Okay, all right. Which is probably why all these other people are involved, because that's why a few of them wouldn't do the 30 for 30.
They talk about it a lot, that guy, but they don't have him on. It's good though. You'll like it.
Good. Can't wait.
What a weird era. Let's get to this quick story here. We're going to just read one of these. A janitor turns off a cold freezer to stop beeping noise and destroys research worth $1 million. You hear about this happening all the time, like a nurse will turn off a noisy machine and it turns out it was like important for somebody's life support or whatever. It's similar to that, except it's going to just cost a whole lot of money. He's an irritated janitor, allegedly switched off a super cold mega fridge to stop it from beeping, but accidentally destroyed decades of scientific study and research. It's pretty gnarly. Let's see, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, or RPI, in Troy, New York. This is just in New York State. Claimed the storage freezer contains cell cultures, samples, and other experiments at minus 112 Fahrenheit. This is an important place for them to keep cool. RPI's lawyer, Michael Ginsberg, alleged people's behavior and negligence caused this. Unfortunately, they wiped out 25 years of research. The damage to materials was allegedly part of a research into photosynthesis to further the development of solar panels. So they're all mad, and the janitor was just like, it's cold in here.
This beeping's driving me nuts. I'm going to figure out a way to turn it off. I mean, that's... yeah.
I feel like they didn't train their
guy.
That
would pretty much be like, oh, I work for a science lab. These are all science things. I probably shouldn't touch them.
Yeah.
You'd think.
You would think. I would think.
Yeah.
That's what I would think, but I think this guy did not go to his training meetings or some shit.
This is basically the whole story behind the Mel Gibson film Forever Young, isn't it? That he was in a cryogenic chamber and some janitor unplugged it because I thought it made a lot of noise. And
yeah, that's right.
And Mel Gibson woke up and called everybody sugar tits or something. I don't know. I might be getting the movie wrong. I
think that last
maybe
part,
I need to see it again.
Yeah, it's been a bit. We'll have to film second, but that reminds me that Caviezel movie is #1 in the box office right now. The weird QAnon conspiracy theory one.
Really? Oh wow!
But here's why though. I found out when I first heard that. I went, wait a minute, really? It's #1? How can that be? It was revealed today that they are buying up their own tickets and selling them.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, they're giving them away.
God.
So they're like, hey, we got a theater full of 500 seats. You guys want in for free? Come on in. They were doing a bunch of that.
So this is, okay, so the movie is pro-QAnon, like it's a supporting QAnon thing.
It's not really pro-QAnon as it is based on a conspiracy theory born out of QAnon.
Okay.
So it's all bullshit. Like apparently on set, Caviezel walks around on set and hands out prayer cards to the crew. Now that's fine, whatever.
Sure,
I don't care.
Of course, yeah.
But there's an image of Jesus on these cards. Guess what the image is though? It's him as Jesus from Passion of the Christ. That's
great.
That's freaking
fantastic.
Weird, man. That's weird.
Yeah, that's really weird. Dude.
Like I don't like it at all. I was listening to some interview with a guy who was a sound engineer on the film, and he said that place was a nightmare. He says just really weird and paranoid, and everything was just weird. But anyway, the reason it's #1, and by #1, I think it made $4 million because it's a slow weekend or something. But it was all them buying their own tickets and then giving them to people. Anyway, that's it for today's news. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, my sister will be here. We have a thing we held since last week, since we didn't have a show last Thursday, and we're going to share that with everybody today. So stick around for that. That's coming up shortly after this song that you'll now describe to us so that we know what we're listening to.
I'll do my best. I'm not making any promises. No, what's really great about this is that this album just came out. It's Alice Phoebe Lou's album Shelter, and I was listening to it to pick a song, and I ended up loving the whole album. So that's kind of what I've been listening to in my car when I'm driving. It's like, oh, this is the soundtrack of my car right now. She's fantastic, and she's got one of these great voices that you just can't get enough of. It's a brand new album called Shelter. What can I tell you? NPR's All Songs Considered New Music Friday. It appeared on. The album came out July 7th, so last week. What else can I'm just looking through this. She's touring. She's going to be doing New York, Paris, London, Prague, all over the place. All right, let's get to the song. Alice Phoebe Lou from her brand new album Shelter. Here is the song Lose My Head.
Hewlett-Packard has introduced the new Vectra 486-33T. HP says it is the most powerful personal computer ever, featuring a 33 megahertz 486 CPU. The base price for the 486-33T is $9,500.
Go to a movie theater. Be in the dark with strange people.
Whoops, I was muted. And we've returned. Welcome back, everybody. Who was that song by and from?
That was Alice Phoebe Lou, 3 first names, and her brand new album, Shelter. That's the song Lose My Head.
Nice.
And it's fantastic stuff.
Nice.
Meant to ask you before we get Wendi in here, did you get a burger yesterday?
No. So the plan was I was going to absolutely get a burger. But when I got done, I found out that Kim made black-eyed peas and some other stuff. And it was really good and filling, and it curbed my need for the burger. That does not mean, however, that I will not get one today.
Yeah, I did. I got one when I went to the movie because I figured, well, I know I'm going to eat like crap when I go to Alamo Draft House.
Right.
So I'll have a sensible lunch and then have a garbagey dinner. But yeah, the Hellfire Burger is what I had, and it's is there a description here? Hot pepper cheese, Reaper pepper mayo, grilled caramelized onions. Oh, it was all the stuff that we talked about, and it was so damn good.
Was it good? Oh man, that sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to 571 today. Get another one.
There you go.
All right.
Get a burger.
I am going to get a burger. All right. We're going to call Wendi. Remind me either post-show or before we hang up, I got to show you this thing Vincent Minucci sent me.
Oh, look at that. Is that an Ambernick case?
Yeah. So, because she's ringing forever, I'll check this out. So,
yeah.
It opens up.
Uh-huh.
It's 3D printed. Has a hinge on it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
The device just sits inside. There's a nice little screen pad thing
there.
there.
A little protector thing there, yep.
And then what I didn't notice about it was, if you flip it around.
It's a stand.
It's a little stand.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So you can charge it in there, just leave it at the side of the bed or whatever. Isn't that cool?
Super cool. That is awesome.
It's such a nice thing. I got that.
Vincent,
email.
send me the STL for that business. I
Yeah.
imagine I can probably find it.
I think
easily,
I think he got it on Etsy, so someone else is making these on Etsy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But it might be it may be an available STL. I don't know.
Might be. Yeah, who knows?
Entirely possible. All right, let's call Wendi again. Let's see. Ring. Here we go. She's showing us online, which is there she is right there. Let's play this song or this thing.
I'll explain the situation to Wendi. Don't worry.
Oh, good, because I will too. Hey, you can tell I found a new Wendi clip this week.
Yeah, what's that from?
That happens once in a while. I don't know, I think it was a TV show or something, and I heard your name. I heard your name, and I was like, oh, I'm going to capture that. It's good to have you here. It's my sister Wendi, everybody, an actual therapist in the real world, comes here on this fake world that we do every week and helps you with your problems. All right, that's the deal. That's the exchange that we have here. Wendi, it's good to have you back. How's things over there?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Do you consider yourself a fake world? That's interesting.
No, just we're in this ethereal space known as the internet, and it's hard to describe sometimes what this place is.
What is this place?
We're sad that we're sad we didn't have you last week, but as you know, it was a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, there were lots of things going on.
It was really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It's like your nightmare happening.
It was the worst.
Your nightmare.
The only thing worse would have been that you'd have to do like a middle of the night flight in the middle of all that. That's the only thing that would have made this worse. And then the only thing that would make that worse is if that plane didn't have working bathrooms and said, sorry, everybody.
Right. Yeah. Bathrooms. Sorry. And we're stuck on the tarmac. We don't have clearance to take off. Looks like we're going to be here for another hour. Yeah. And our bathrooms don't work.
Yeah. So sorry.
So
don't get up. Yeah. I just probably say, all right, take me now. Kill me. I'm done.
This is it. I found my limit.
Indeed.
Oh boy.
But I'll tell you
I'm
what.
glad you're better and the plumbing works, I assume, right?
Yeah. It's all, well, yes, everything except we can't figure out one of the sprinkler things, but the plumbing itself, all good. Pressure's normal. Everything's good. All that stuff is like, and now when I turn it on, I do this now, and I'm not kidding. I turn on the water in a sink. It doesn't matter, shower. And I just, for 1 second, I stop and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just
That's
stop and I
it,
go,
baby. Mindful
oh,
living.
yeah.
Good
yeah.
job.
That's one I never want to take that for granted again because it was terrible. Anyway, it's good to have you here. We got a big old message that we're gonna do that we've been holding all week. This is, and when I say big old thing, this is about 3 minutes of a read. So everybody tuck in.
Okay.
Anything you want to say, Wendi, before this, or we just go for it?
No, go for it.
All right, here we go.
My wife, 27, has gone through a large change regarding her parents in the last few years. She comes from a large family. She is the youngest of 7, 2 kids from her father's previous marriage, 3 from her mother's, and her older brother were born from her parents together. Growing up until about 2 years ago, she and her mom were best friends, daily phone calls, shopping trips, etc. Her dad was always incredibly kind and welcoming to everyone, which was great for me starting to date her with 5 older brothers. But then they got divorced a few years ago. Since then, her mother who is 60, has seemed to regress to a teenage rebel. She doesn't see any of the 12 grandkids, only cares about partying, and to top it all off, is constantly cheating on her new fiancé. The most recent example of this impacting my wife was when someone came to her work and showed her a video of her mom stripping at a work party.
Jeez.
And the only reason she didn't get fired from that is because she is sleeping with her boss. My wife was the most embarrassed she had been in her life. Her dad, on the other hand, has made the decision that the only thing he is going to care about for the rest of his life is alcohol. He has told us that verbatim. He has been to rehab a handful of times when his sister forces him, and does well when he is there. But as soon as he comes home, starts drinking again, at least a fifth of vodka a day, usually more. One of her older brothers has had his own issues with addiction in the forms of heroin and meth, and is now living with her dad, buying him all the liquor he wants because the dad lets him use his card, the money in which is quickly running out, to do whatever he wants, even bought a new truck. They really just aren't the same people they were even a couple of years ago, and it has done some real emotional damage to my wife. She feels guilty that she doesn't see her dad anymore, even though his house is a dangerous place to be, because there are people buying drugs coming in and out at all hours. She didn't visit for Father's Day, but I doubt he even knew that it came and went. She feels like she should do something, but has no idea what she should do, or even if she would have any control if she tried. Her mom just stresses her out. She is always saying my wife doesn't make an effort to see her anymore, and has even taken to fabricating rumors of her kids. Examples being one of them was cheating on their spouse, and that my wife and I were getting divorced, based on absolutely nothing. Needless to say, this has been incredibly taxing on most of the family, and my wife, being the youngest and the only one that lived with them alone as a teenager, has been overwhelmed, stressed, guilted, and grieving that she has essentially lost these people that she was so close to while growing up. I guess I don't know what to ask other than, how can I support her and help her either mend what has happened or come to terms with accepting it for what it is? She is often completely drained from dealing with it on top of work and gets spikes of anxiety whenever she sees her mom calling her. Again, I apologize for the wall of text. There's a lot more I left out for brevity, but hopefully these details are enough for an overview of the situation. Love the show, though. Concerned husband.
Okay. That's a lot, dude.
That is a lot. Oh my God.
Holy crap. Like the mom part alone was like, whoa. And then you hear about this dad bit and it just,
just all of a sudden, like, like they got taken over by aliens or something.
Well, that's going to be my question before we get into it, Wendi, is it even, my gut says there was probably problems that the kids were either shielded from or was sort of pushed down until they were, empty nesters, and then it all went off again. Because it doesn't seem like that stuff should be that spontaneous, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of behavior is usually one that's built into you for a while.
Triggered
you don't just
either that or triggered by a mental health breakdown or something. Some sort of mental health shift that's happened in their life.
So anyway, where do you want to
have both of them at the same time?
Right.
Usually would indicate like when I hear stories like this, it's maybe one parent has kind of gone off the rails and the other one is feeling the responsibility or holding the fort down or, that type of thing. The fact that it's both of them,
could the behaviors of one of them have triggered the other one? Like basically hearing about his ex-wife's behavior, her dad is now like, forget it. having some sort of mental health crisis based on that or triggered by her behavior that's led him to the bottle?
Well, and here's the thing that I don't know, that maybe this person who is just, the outlaw doesn't know either. And that is, what was the demise of the relationship about? So,
yeah.
Second marriages are very difficult. Blending families are very difficult. This is not for the faint-hearted at all. But how they handled all that difficulty could have been substance use all along. And then it's just, now he's saying out loud the quiet part of like, yeah, I'm never giving this up. I like it. And it sounds like some addiction runs in that family. But it's very possible, like their management techniques they weren't healthy things while they were together. So maybe the demise was a sudden relational injury. So for example, one of them is cheats, or one of them just like becomes a different person, or whatever that might be. And so because both responses are interesting. They're both basically trauma responses. And so I don't know how traumatic the separation was or what went on between them was, but they're both responding very much like people do when something really hard happens, right? So for example, let's take the mom let's just dig into her for 1 second. I have this running theory, and I think it's true. I don't know if this is fair. It's not studied, so it's just, theory by Wendi. That somebody gets married at whatever age, and then, lives however long in a marriage or a partnered relationship. And when that relationship ends, there's even just a period of time, maybe it's not forever, but a period of time where it seems as if that person regresses back to the age they were when they got married. And it's usually got married the first time.
Yeah.
Right. So for mom, this would be probably young, right?
I didn't sow my wild oats. And
exactly.
So they
right.
back to that
so there's
business.
some obvious things like that, but I also think there is it's like a developmental, personal stop. So they developed this far, then they partnered up, and then you're having to develop as a couple and a family. And there's really healthy ways to do that are mature, but there is absolutely like a reset button on age that kind of happens in these moments. Hard part about that is she is making all sorts of decisions that are like not just a wild oats situation. This is like wild oats time 100, like
right.
This is like wild oats with a real bad case of
reality TV.
No. I was gonna say you can't have. What's the thing where you can't have gluten? I forgot what that's called. She got a gluten allergy and she's
intolerance.
Yeah, but she's eating those oats anyway. Just letting it rip.
And it's coming out sideways.
Yeah.
And okay, so maybe there's all these things going on with the parents. We're gonna talk to how to help the daughter, of course, but you have both parents behaving like adolescents. Right. You're 27. You've switched places with them. And 27 is very young to feel like you're switching places with your parents. Often it's as they're aging and you need to make medical decisions or housing decisions, or they can't care for themselves, or financial decisions because they're no longer in a position to be the adult. I think there's moments along the way we all think, well, that's a dumb choice, dad or mom or something. And you can have those little mini moments, but like full on, this is not a trustworthy adult in my life. My caregiver is no longer functioning. That usually happens later, but it is happening in now. Here we are. She and her husband are the adults and the responsible ones, and these two supposed parents, responsible ones, have switched places.
Right.
That is incredibly difficult. Difficult, because it flips your entire how everything runs on its head, right? So just I'm trying to think of what is a good analogy of like you always thought a thing and then suddenly it's completely different and you missed it your whole life. It's kind of unnerving, or like what? And it's just a little. Now imagine that times 100. That is having the people who are supposed to worry about you become now the object of so much of your worry and your concern. And the big part of that is you don't have power. They always had power because they were the parents. You don't have this equal power as the adult in a relationship with an adolescent that it was originally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you are in trouble.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to imagine this. Like mom just had her 85th birthday today, right? Today's her birthday. And
happy birthday.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to imagine. Obviously, she's not 60. 60 still got a little, you got a little wind in your sails. But can you just imagine this? Like finding out your mom's sleeping with somebody's boss and also cheating on the fiance and like all this stuff, and then
stripping at work and my God. Yeah.
I guess I can imagine little things like he mentioned that she made up, sometimes they tell themselves stories and make up stories about what their kids are doing when it's really not correct at all.
Yeah,
that happens. That definitely happens.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I don't know. This is just crazy.
Let me say this, and this is not fair, but also maybe a little, is there's a lot of just different things going on for people that you would never know, right? And so sometimes when a door gets opened or you get shoved through a door you never planned on, I assume these people did not think their lives would end like this, divorced and estranged and all that, right? That there was maybe behaviors or interactions or different things going on that gets you to this moment, right?
Right.
That these kinds of things come out, and it comes out all sorts of ways. And you add enough of the right substances to this sort of thing, and you get a brother to move in who's doing heroin and meth. Like it is hard to make good choices.
Yeah.
And so it's tough.
Yeah.
And with the size of her family, so she's got 6 siblings. Is that right? Is 7 children?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like they all need to kind of come together and figure out, all right, are we, do we want to call adult protective services? Do we want to get somebody involved to say, is there a cognitive issue? Is there, at least keeping them from harming themselves kind of,
because what it sounds like to me is they're fully aware of what they're doing. They're just super into wanting to do it.
They just don't care.
Yeah, they just don't seem to care.
I would also double check if there's any head injuries.
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting.
Could, like, if there's a car accident we all just thought was not a big deal.
That happens, huh? People like find out
the brain.
And they regress from that.
Yeah. They regress or there's damage to the frontal lobe that can really cause behavior changes and a lot of like executive function changes. So like impulsive and very teenage-like behavior again. So maybe that's something that's there. They're like, I wish that explained it, Yeah. I mean, I think that's what's hard is it's probably not that.
It'd be great if that were as easy as that. Yeah.
Brian, you brought up a really good point. There are siblings here. If this were an only child, our advice would be probably a little bit different, but this is somebody who's got 6 siblings. She's the youngest, probably never played the role of family leader before. And so doesn't quite know that you can call a family council and talk about it or something. I don't know. But I would do a couple things for her. So let's break this down into some categories. One is getting support. And so we can talk about siblings and maybe what her husband could do for her. And then the second being like her own psychological, emotional well-being for her individual experience, what she can do for herself. So let's start with the family. So you guys know the story. I want you to tell me what you think the family, what that would look like. Now, let's just imagine it's complicated. It's blended, right? We've got someone in there doesn't like someone else probably very much, right? Someone feels like someone else is bossy.
Oh God, yeah. Or they feel like, no, mom's fine. She's just doing what she wants to do. Finally, she deserves this, kind of thing. Like there's got to be one sibling that's going to be,
So it's a whole. You need a united front is my first impression of this, and I think that fits with what you're just saying. I think if you don't have a united front with all the other siblings, as to whether or not it's a confrontation, whether or not it's an intervention, whether or not it's any of those things. You all kind of need to be on the same page. If everyone is just as diversely convoluted about the whole thing, that doesn't seem like you're going to get much traction.
Then we need to focus on point number 2, right?
Yeah.
But start with, I mean, it should be simultaneous, by the way, but start with this gathering. Let's say you guys have a meeting, you get on a Zoom call, and we're just going to talk about, what are you guys worried about? Anyone have any thoughts? How do we handle this? Kind of trying to create the united front. And that united front might be, we just stay out of it. Stay out of it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
that's where
and
point number 2
and watch
is what
them,
you do.
and just watch them self-destruct. I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be
I'd have to
really
at least
hard, right?
say, you have to say something, at least to let them know
Yeah.
where your head's at, right? So that they
Well,
know.
and this
Yeah.
is where connecting for support with each other, because only siblings
Mhm.
know what it's like to have these parents.
Yeah.
But of course,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
person is an individual having a different experience because they have different relationships with those parents. But the more you could maybe hear each other out, talk about what maybe needs to happen. This happens all the time when parents are aging, right?
Yeah.
You're just applying this a lot earlier, and to 2 people not doing well instead of sometimes it's one, right? One person's aging, or dad's alcoholism is getting out of control and mom needs you guys to help, or like the dynamics are all going to be different. So you obviously work with the dynamics that you have. However, not doing this alone. And I did notice he did not mention anything about the siblings talking or supporting each other.
No,
Did I miss something?
So yeah, I wonder how close they all are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be an important thing to initiate. Now, again, and here's what's hard: unless this husband is a trained mediator and very good with words and really skilled at this dynamic, I would not volunteer maybe to be the one running this, but it would maybe have your wife listen to this episode, or you could talk through that idea. It needs to come from her, and her making those connections with the siblings to talk through that type of thing.
Right.
The reality is, I don't know percentages why, but interventions usually don't go well. If you have, a hammer, that's not right, a stick to follow up with any, like, hey, you're going to rehab, we're driving you there now. Okay. That's one thing. And that's also very difficult, because you have adults here. Adults have to check themselves into things.
Right.
They have to give consent for treatment. This is not a kid. You
can't just place them in there. They have to.
You cannot.
Yeah.
So you're dropping a bomb in all of this, and you have to be pretty sure that it's the right thing to do and that everyone's on the same page. So that's pretty risky. I would say even before any kind of meeting or let's figure all this out, is just who of your siblings are you talking to? Who is also concerned? Who are you, connecting with? Where are you getting support within the structure that already exists here? Because there's a lot of people. And start there, like build from there. What can we do? How can we help? What is everyone doing? Because sometimes when everyone agrees and that kind of treats the parents similarly, they'll have more effect that way than they would if they didn't. And that's what makes this a little bit tough, because everyone's probably just like, don't call me, leave me alone. Or someone else is like, I need to be the hero. I mean, because people play different roles in families. So figuring that out might be important. Okay, real quick. Last night I watched the episode. Have you guys been watching The Bear?
No, not yet. Haven't started the new season yet.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, do it.
Yeah.
There is this, I can't even say any words now. I don't want to ruin it. It's so good. But let me just say, it's watching family dynamics that will melt your brain.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Like melt your brain. Anyway, I was going to do an analogy with that, but just that idea of like every family has its own flavor. What's the beginning of Anna Karenina? It's like every happy family is the same, but every unhappy family is unhappy in their own way.
Yeah.
This family is unhappy in its own way. And so, having that dynamic, if it's supportive, built, great. If it's not, and we really are just this husband and wife kind of on their own managing this, let's turn our attention to what she might do for herself. Okay.
Right.
So what's tricky is, here you are partnered with someone who it feels like this massive swing. You thought you were marrying into this particular family. It turns out it's a Jerry Springer family. It's not quite what you expected, right?
You thought you were going on Oprah. You're on Jerry Springer. That's where you're going.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or Donahue.
You're in a good car, but you're not. Anyway, so
yeah.
So everyone has concerns, right? And we've talked about this on the show before, but even just drawing this out for the two of you, I'm talking to them directly now, the two of you. So you draw one circle, and that is your circle of concerns. And I would write them in there. I would draw a donut, because the inner circle of the donut is your influence. But your circle of concerns, like everything that fits in that donut, write it down. I'm afraid dad's going to waste all of his money. I'm so sad I don't get to see him. I miss, everything that goes into this. And then look at where your circle of influence is. So it sounds like, maybe I'm forgetting, she doesn't talk to her dad.
Right.
Doesn't see her dad very much. And then mom is just very stressful. I guess they do communicate.
Yeah, she was talking about, for example, how she would get a text from her mom or a phone call coming through, and she would just completely like stress out because she knew her mom's just up to something weird and she didn't want to deal with it.
Got it. Okay. So that heightened sense of like what shoe's going to drop, what is going to happen, and essentially all trust is lost, and that is a huge wound. Is to have the trust that you used to have in your parents taken so quickly, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of loss. And so, you could draw these circles, and husband does the same thing where he writes all of his concerns. It's like, my wife's sanity, is everyone okay? All the things he's concerned about, and what is his actual influence. And then identify that influence. So let's start with her. Can she change her parents' behavior? Does she have the power to do that?
No,
Probably not.
Probably influence it, but change it, no.
Right. And then maybe get specific. How can you influence it? Because there is not a child on earth who does not think when their parents are distressed or they can sense something is wrong, that it's either their fault or that they should do something to make it better.
Sure.
That's how kids operate. And they don't stop when they're 27. They still think they can do. And so this is about getting really clear on maybe what is actually possible. So you might say, just love them. Okay, then get specific. What does it mean to just love them? Maybe it's my influence right now is to make sure I'm okay first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can have maybe some abilities I don't currently have, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be a variety of things. Maybe it's boundaries. Maybe it's I can send a letter. I can, whatever it is you feel like you have some influence over, like getting clear on that helps people torture themselves a whole lot less, right? Because if you sat a kid down whose parents are getting divorced, a 10-year-old, and said, what's your influence? What's your power here? And they would tell you, well, if I cleaned my room and I didn't have so many sports games, then my parents would not fight at night.
They wouldn't have, right, because that's what they were fighting about. Like, right. They
100%.
look at just the surface level stuff.
Right.
It's a lot of it's going to be a matter of just hopefully telling her mom how it's making her feel as a daughter, and to watch this sort of thing, and maybe that's an inroad.
Right. That is a great question. I'm calling it a question.
Yeah, no, it is a question. I went up on the end to put a question mark at the end, even though I didn't phrase it in the form of a question, Alex. Yeah.
Well, thank you. But that idea of like, that could be the absolute worst thing for this woman.
Really? Okay.
Because what you're doing
for the mom or for the daughter?
No, for the 27-year-old. Yeah, I need a
Gotcha.
name. Susan. We're gonna call her Susan.
Or daughter and mother.
Daughter and mother. Let's do that. Daughter and mother. So daughter. The worst thing for the daughter could be saying, "Hey, mom, this is how I feel," and then have mom going, "Yeah," by her behavior. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm abandoning you in every way, and now you've just added feelings to this, which I may use against you. Like, I don't know. The mother is not making good decisions, right? So I don't think
it may not even be the leverage. There may not even be any leverage there. Yeah.
100%. And would it be just fuel for this fire? Maybe she's already tried this. I don't know. But that is something, this is where my point number 2 is the most important. This is not something that she can do without help grieving, processing, talking it through, getting it clear in her own head, crying, being angry. Like, she's got a lot to feel and work through. Mm-hmm. And what's risky is because we get so desperate to have our people be okay, we don't make sure we're okay first. And so you can imagine this just going on and on and on, as long as these people decide to behave these ways, right? And so having her really get support and feel safe to express all the feelings that come up with this, and not try to go fix mom and dad, though that is very tempting. But what 10-year-old has ever stopped their parents' divorce in any real way? Well, it's because it's not their fault.
Right.
They don't actually have the power of the influence. And I'm going to argue this 27-year-old does not have the power of the influence to stop what's happening, because you don't. However, you're going to think you do. And that's what's dangerous. And this is what's hard is, I say this, but I would be in the same exact position. I would also be more dangerous because I'd think I have skills, right? So I completely get that. And yet there is a couple steps or couple things, and this is maybe where the husband can be helpful, is to really encourage her to talk to someone, maybe someone who specializes in high conflict family stuff, parent, adult, children dynamics. There are lots of specialists that work with some of these dynamics and blended families and all those things, because it is really hard stuff. And so then you think of it in terms of scope of practice, right? Everyone finds their scope of practice and works within that. And a lot of really good things can come out of that. What's hard is when we are stepping out of those lines and hoping it goes better. Now, again, I have a hammer because I see nails. So maybe that you guys have an alternative option to having somebody sort of professionally help her, and maybe help the husband too, you know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Draw something or make music?
Listen to some music.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm bad with this because when I see nails, I use the heel of my shoe to put them in.
Oh boy.
No, I mean, that feels like the right thing. I mean, if there's a family therapy thing that can just start with the daughter, but with the option that later on maybe the mom can come in as well, and maybe it's done under the pretense that, hey, you know, this therapist, you know, knows I'm going through a lot of stuff, but they'd like to talk to you as well, or maybe you don't hide it, you don't sugarcoat it or hide the fact that you might be bringing her into some of this, but starting with, you know, just a place to help the daughter cope that maybe brings in the mom later on to solve that.
That's a great idea.
Do you feel like
and that is very common. That's typically like not new for family therapy, right?
It's only because I haven't been on Amazon to try and find a book.
Yeah, there's been no books yet.
Guarantee there's a book.
There's
definitely a book. There's always a book.
There always is a book, right? But you're right. Like that option in therapy is very common for families.
Because if nothing else, it'll help the daughter, even if they can't get the mom to come in and do anything. At least the daughter will have an outlet. Yeah.
Yes, totally. And, you know, having the husband be a part of understanding, maybe there's a session where he gets to understand how to support her better, right? Once the therapist has spent some time with her and knows how that could look, because her support system is going to really matter. So I want, and this is hard because I think sometimes we're trained to not ask for help, right? We're trained. I'm trying to imagine being raised by parents that this could be the outcome. There has to be some in embryo version of this in their lives, right? Unless there was a head injury or some other radical, but you know, maybe this was all like, I don't know, not as far from the surface as we think. And is there stuff from growing up specifically related to that maybe the husband's not aware of? And so there might just be stuff to work on that can be really helpful. She's particularly triggered by this, right? So it's shocking if parents change on you like this, right? But it's also incredibly painful if there's been hints of abandonment before. There's been hints of this passive aggressive blaming or being embarrassed by your mom. Like, then those wounds are just getting activated in massive ways, but they might have been there for a long time. And so that's why having a professional connect with her is important, because a friend's going to say all the right things maybe, but is not going to, understand the childhood element to this or the triggering factors or the things that are causing so much distress. But you still need the friend. So what I was getting at is maybe you've been trained not to ask for help, do it yourself kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so you just keep fighting at the problem, and she's doing it by being distressed and worrying and trying and, all of those different things. And that feels like love and trying because that's been her experience. And yet the support of your community, someone you can say, hey, I need to just vent about how terrible my mom is acting, and know that that's a safe place, means you're going to interact with that next text a little differently, because you are not carrying it all and it's bubbling underneath the surface all the time, right? So even from therapy, I think would be incredibly valuable here, all the way to, can your support system be let in enough to get support? I'm often having to tell people that, like, you've got to let them in. I always do this like assessment, like, who do we have to call? Who do you call when your tire pops? And, you know, if it's not your partner, who else would it be? You know, like, we start to look at it and work on building it, because most of us are just like living our lives. And yet and maybe not realizing we don't know how to ask someone to really be there for us, especially if we have a history of mom and dad maybe not actually always being there for me.
Right.
It can be particularly overwhelming. So
yeah, it sounds like just regardless, some therapy. You know, it almost sounds like it's like the easy thing to say, get therapy, but it's also just like crucial. You know, like regardless of whether these things get resolved, her and her husband will gain something from that. Maybe the world is gained by it. Maybe all this stuff flips and it's all a path to perfection. Who knows? But at the very least, those two will get the help they need.
Yeah.
And when that happens, two things usually occur. One, and at least the initial one, is that people get annoyed by your new boundaries. Like, you'll get boundaries by going to therapy. You will learn, wow, I'm actually not okay with this stuff, and I can learn how to stop this or say no or disengage, you know. And that disrupts a family dynamic. Like, when you get to this episode of The Bear, if anyone had set a single flippin' boundary ever, the level of vitriol that would have come at them, it's astounding, right? And so that is often, people are scared away from that, right? Like, in my family, we don't do that. We do this or that, right? And we've all learned what survival means in each family. And so that's tricky. And then what usually follows is, when that can be done and that bravery is employed, there starts to be a softening. I've seen this over and over and over, that the people who are just like making fun of you for going to therapy suddenly are like, hey, do you think your therapist has any openings? You know, you start to see some benefits because you're being healthy, and people will notice that eventually after they're stop being mad that you don't play the dysfunctional game anymore.
Yeah.
And I look at this and I just think, wow, there's just so much power dynamics from child to parent and parent to child here that has to adjust.
Yeah.
And most of us aren't very good at this in normal situations where mom is not, you know, stripping at a company party. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Woo, this is level 3000, you know.
The last couple of years, I've found that a couple of issues I've had with some family dynamics, depends on which one I'm talking about, even in my own head here, but there's a couple of things where it's a little tangly, right? And I found that the time when I finally went, whatever, go do your thing, and the power dynamic became, they no longer held sway over my constant irritation / concern for their behavior.
Yeah.
Suddenly it changed for them too, because I was like, I'm all out of poops to give. Go be dumb. And was confident about me not giving a poop anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I actually meant it. It's like, well, I've done all I can. I've spent all the energy I can. So now it's whatever. Just go do whatever you're going to do. It no longer affects me. That turns some of that around for them. Without getting into details, but it created less, instead of us constantly punching up and down, it became, oh, he doesn't want to fight anymore. Well, shoot, I don't actually either. Like, there was a kind of a reconciliation that came out of that in a weird way. And I still find that occasionally. Like, somebody who used to really bug me at family gatherings. Now I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. And they don't do these things that bug me as much. They stop doing it.
Like some science-y voodoo.
Yeah.
Like, it's a math problem. And part of that, if you think about it in just terms of energy, you bring energy to a fight. You bring no energy to a fight. There's nothing to fight against or react to, right? And so, and that's what's hard with any of these circumstances, especially early on in the dynamic, and the fact that it's so reality TV like every other minute some new revelation of insanity. It's really not hard not to be like, okay, what? And get really invested. And what you'll find with many people, they'll just be completely burnt out and often just have to walk away. And as a 27-year-old adult, I mean, there's no shortage of TikToks talking about how people had to cut off their parents, right? I think there's a mild bit of contagion there. I think you need to take some necessary steps before you do that, because some people just do it without doing their own work.
Right.
And like I always say, take out the garbage. Your own garbage, right?
Yeah.
But like you're wounded.
TMS before you put on your kids.
Exactly. So before you decide to cut everyone off because they're boomers, like maybe figure out your stuff first. And then there are people who, that's pretty more of the rare younger version of this or immature version of this. Most people have spent years and years and years giving and being hurt and wounded over and over and over again before they finally can stop putting themselves in that position. So tons of compassion for that. Absolutely. But I do think, really working out your things will give you a perspective. Either you can still do the family thing but your boundaries are in place and you can remain healthy, or you can figure out ways, maybe those boundaries mean less contact. And sometimes people make a turnaround, and it's nice to have a family therapist ready to go.
I agree. Well, let us know how it goes, concerned husband. I hope things improve on your end.
Yeah.
Especially on your wife's end.
Me too. Let us know, please.
Yeah. We like follow-up. Speaking of follow-up, Wendi, what's going on? You got signups coming up soon? Something's happening soon, right?
No, it's not going to be till the fall.
Okay.
Summer is.
For some reason, I thought there was a summer thing, but I don't know why I thought
that.
Yeah,
we have done many during the year at different times, and Ellen got married and been moved across the country and busy. So we're just sticking with the two right now. But it'll be October.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. Watch for that. Realsteps.org if you want to hang out and be ready. I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks. I guess we'll see you in
Bear
we're
going to be there soon and roasted our faces off in Las Vegas.
That's right.
So I'm excited.
Yep. Nice and hot. Everything's nice and hot.
It's not meant for people. I don't think.
It really isn't.
Florida and Vegas are not meant for people.
No, they are Phoenix, Florida, and parts of Florida anyway, and Vegas.
Definitely certain part of Atlanta. Sorry, Amy.
Oh yeah.
These are not meant for human beings, but the air conditioning's nice.
At certain times of the year, for sure.
Yeah, it does feel sometimes like we've populated a planet we were not meant to live on. In those places, like in Phoenix, it's like, it's a big metropolitan city. You can do all the things you do in any major city, but it's also so hot outside that you could literally melt into the ground. And so it's like going to Mars. You just got to keep the oxygen on and, keep people from going out onto the surface of Mars, or their eyes will bug out, if I learned anything from that movie. Anyway, tell everybody hi. It'll be fun to see you guys soon, and probably got at least one more of these.
So should we could do the show live on the Thursday that I'm there.
We could, yeah. You're here. I guess we could do it.
So it'd be on the 27th, or we can, 27th.
Was that where we'll be in Bear Lake?
We go to Bear Lake that night, so yeah.
We get home.
Maybe.
What do we do? Do we leave that day? I don't know what we do.
We leave that afternoon.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, no, if you're physically here and we're doing a show that day, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and we could do like a TikTok dance together.
Yeah. Finally, after all these years.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I've ever wanted in my whole life is that.
Yep.
By the way, your birthday's Monday.
Yeah, my birthday is Monday.
Birthday is Monday.
Oh, wow.
How old are you?
No
50 something?
I don't really know anymore where we're at. I don't know what number that is.
69. So you must be 54.
50. Yeah, I'll turn 54. That is correct.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, we know that because Brian will very quickly right after that turn the same age. And,
2 weeks.
Oh, you guys are the same age. That's cute.
Pretty darn close.
Never.
Scott's the elder.
Yeah.
Scott is way older.
I'm the
Do you
older
ever
man.
think you could have been in high school together and just picture each other in high school?
No, we totally could have.
And
we graduated
alphabetically,
the same year.
we would have been sitting pretty close to each other, probably.
Oh my gosh.
And we would have both liked a lot of the same stuff. We would have had similar musical tastes back then. All these things would have come together. If it was a modern,
might have gotten me to watch Dukes of Hazzard. He might have been the influence that I needed.
Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard or Knight Rider, one of the cool shows that were on TV. I could have gotten Brian.
Sure.
Instead, he was watching Fantasy Island and I don't
Love
know,
Boat.
Dynasty and Love Boat.
Love Boat.
I was never watched Dynasty. Never watched Dynasty, Dallas, Falcon Crest. Get those words out your damn mouth.
He remembers every one of them, weirdly.
Yeah, weird how you know all those names.
Yeah, I just want to stave off those rumors before they get started.
Yeah, we don't want any of that. All right, well, my best to everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.
All right, bye.
See you later.
All right. That was fun.
So that's the family reunion trip coming up at the end of the month, right?
It is. We're going to Bear Lake and doing lake stuff. Yep. Renting a, what do you call them? Not a jet ski.
Pontoon?
No, the jet ski. Jet skis are the ones that are underwater. They're the ones you stand up and do, right? Jet skis.
Yeah. Well, Sea-Doos. I mean, you can sit down on jet skis as well.
Can you?
Sea-Doos, jet skis. Yeah.
Sea-Doos,
they have
I know
seats,
you can.
but some people stand up on them. Some people sit.
Yeah, we'll rent one of those. And probably one hold enough for two of us. I think someone else is renting a boat. We're gonna do skiing, and Kim's doing all the menu stuff, and we're gonna eat like crazy, and it's gonna be fun.
That'll be fun.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And whatever flu we all had is gone, so we're not taking it up there.
No one's showing up with Giardia or stomach virus or some.
They better not, because we did
Yeah.
have a family reunion in 2010 where that happened. And it was all, Wendy's kids were all sick. Everybody was sick, but I think my brother and I think my mom skipped out somehow. But it was bad.
Is it just over a weekend? Is it just like the 27th through that following Sunday or something?
Yeah, I think we come home.
No real show. I mean, obviously, FilmSec will have an effect, but
FilmSec gets dinged, but we'll figure that out. And then I think that's it. Everything else I think is okay. It may be Monday we come home, so maybe TMS is affected.
Right.
I got to check with the ladies. They all know what's going on. I have no idea.
Of course. Yes.
All right, we're going to get out of here. Before we do, quick reminder today, Coverville, 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out. Core today, 5 p.m. It'll be a Bo and Scott two-man show tonight. John's out doing a thing, so just me and Bo tonight. Bunch to talk about, including this the latest on this Microsoft acquisition thing. It's actually kind of gotten real dramatic this week, so some fun discussion around that. Let's see. There'll be a Core Daily today as well. Guess the Connection happening Friday. You do that at 9 Friday?
I do that at 9. Yeah, I do that an hour before a couch party.
That's right.
Don't know what the prize will be today, but it'll be something cool. Yeah.
I don't know what couch party will be yet either, but we'll come up with something good.
We'll have to talk. Yeah, I got to figure that out because Hammond flies in during Guess the Connection, and if I were to go pick him up from the airport, then we'd have to shuffle all that stuff around. So you and I'll need to talk offline. I'll talk to Hammond and see if he's cool taking a train from the airport. Then
we're good.
It shouldn't affect everything. It shouldn't affect anything else. We'll figure it all out.
All right, we'll let you guys know. And then FilmSack this weekend, we will be getting to Green Lantern after a week of craziness and Tina getting sick and us having our issues. We were like, FilmSack ain't happening. So we're doing that this Sunday. So watch for that as well. All right, that'll do it for us. Big thanks, everybody, for listening. Join us on our Patreon, patreon.com/TMS. I would love to have you over there. It means a lot that you help support your favorite morning show, and it's a great way to do it and a cheap way to do it. Patreon.com/TMS. Brian, let's get out of here. We got to play a song. Do you have one?
I do. Let's do this one going out to Glitch. I love when he writes in because it's always written out. Glitch. Whatever song that Brian picks is for you guys because even though I haven't gotten my patron bonus membership card yet, I still think I'm ripping you off. Scott, you mentioned KMFDM a bit back, and though they did release an album last year, one of the main singers, Raymond Watts, just released this cover album. Love the show, though. Your #1 Iowa idiot out wandering around fan.
Nice.
So recommended the anything from the brand new album by Raymond Watts, who goes by the name Pig, or released an album under the name Pig. It's called Candy Rewrapped, and it's a bunch of covers. And of course, the one I glommed onto immediately was the cover of the Spice Girls 2 Become One. I'm just going to warn you, this is not for everybody. But if you're okay with KMFDM, if you're okay with Raymond Watts's weird loungy growly vocals, then you should enjoy this. Here is To Become One rewrapped by the band Pigged.
We'll see you guys on Monday.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Give me the bird.
Yeah, give me the bird.
Give me the bird.
Give me the bird. Let's see. So